Hello friends, myself Poorti. This video is going to be very useful for the students who are preparing for NEET and the CSIR NET. In this video, I have taken this topic response to stress in plants. Stress is a very common topic. You have seen that many cases of depression has been arising in among humans, and so we will discuss in the plants how plants are going to be to adapt this to combat this stress. So what is the stress in the plants? It may be only the drought and the frost conditions, मतलब सूखा पड़ जाना या फिर बहुत ज़्यादा ठंड हो जाना. तो what can be the strategy for the plant they are going to be adapt? So the first thing is that of hardening, that is the outer surface, that means the bark, seeds and buds, they are going to be hardened. And the next strategy they are going to be adapting, that is the winter dormancy, that is the resting period. So friends, all these things we will see in the detail. So let us start. So as I have told you that the stress conditions are the drought and the frost. And this one word is there is the limiting factor, that is the stress becomes the limiting factor for the affecting the plant growth, survival and geographical distribution. मतलब स्ट्रेस के कारण कुछ चेंजेस आ जाते हैं प्लांट्स में, है ना. तो हम लोग वी कैन ऑल्सो रिलेट टू द एग्रीकल्चरल ईल्ड की जो आउटपुट होता है दैट इज़ ड्रास्टिकली रिड्यूस, बहुत कम हो सकता है ना, ड्यू टू दीज स्ट्रेसफुल एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स. ना बायोलॉजिकल स्ट्रेस की डेफिनेशन यहाँ पे दिया गया है कि इज एनी चेंज इन द एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशन दैट माइट reduce or adversely change a plant's growth or development. Now a biological strain means होता है type. Okay, so it may, the genotype may be altered. Okay, so here it may be of two type, that is elastic and the plastic. As the name suggests that the when the return of optimal conditions, when there is a return of the optimal condition, यानी कि जब सब कुछ normal हो जाएगा तो इट लीड्स टू द रिटर्न ऑफ द ऑप्टिमल फिजियोलॉजिकल एक्टिविटी. तो प्लांट्स का जो फंक्शन है दैट ऑल्सो वो भी नॉर्मल हो जाएगा. ओके, सो ऑप्टिमल. और प्लास्टिक में क्या होता है, जस्ट वाइस वर्सा, जस्ट रिवर्स ऑफ दिस. when there is returning of the optimal environmental conditions, the functions, the physiological activity is not returning. Okay, so the change is going to be very permanent. Okay, so there are three terms written over here, that is the stress resistance, still tolerance, okay, and stress avoidance. So there are three words, that is the flight, fear and tolerate. So these things, as we see in humans, in the same way the plants also adapt these strategies. So we will see in detail the word that is very important, that is the acclimatization. Okay, this word is very important, acclimatization. It is known as the hardening. Okay, so here we are only focusing towards the frost conditions. So we will see over here that is the influence of the low temperature. Low temperature means how it is low, up to 0 to 10 degree change. Okay, there is जैसे we what is our normal tendency, that is inactive. Okay, so in the same way, when the temperature falls, there is a very rapid fall in the activity of the metabolic process. And the another change over here is the chilling, that is causing the change of the liquid to solid. And what going to be damaged, that is the membrane lipids and the membrane bound enzymes. Okay, so thus there is a loss and damage in the plants. So how the plants can combat this situation, this thing is the unsaturated fatty acid, UFA, that is unsaturated fatty acid. As much these fatty acids are more, the less is the damage. So we will now understand with the some examples. So we will see here in the Arctic, in the alpine regions. Alpine means mountainous vegetation and Arctic means near the poles. So here we will see in the Arctic tree line what happens. The first we know the fact that the winds are laden with the snow crystals. There are snow crystals in the layer, in the wind, sorry, and they can abrase the leaf needle. And the next fact is about these winds is that the winds are blown at a height greater than 1 to 2 मीटर, यानी कि 1 से 2 मीटर के ऊपर ये जो winds होती हैं वो बहती हैं. ओके, सो what can be the adaptation that ये जो जितनी भी plants हैं they can grow beyond 1 to 2 meter. Okay, so this causing the this reduction of height and it go and giving to a mop head effect. Next thing we will see, next example in the Arctic, in the alpine species. Okay, so here again there is a daft habit, there is a plastic response, it is permanent, it is going to be permanent. In the tundra plants, if you will see at very cold places, what happens, there is a more compact of structures like the rosette, cushions, stuffed grass. Okay, and what can be the next adaptation, that is the apical meristem and the perinating organs, they are going to have below the ground. Okay, मतलब ज़मीन के अंदर चले जाते हैं और इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं freezing avoidance. Now next example is that of the alpine species only, specifically in species में क्या होता है, anthocyanin. Anthocyanin is a pigment which gives the red color. Okay, so green color जो chlorophyll देता है, chlorophyll gives the green color, green and red mix to form dark purple to black leaves for the absorbance of the solar radiation. Okay, so these are all the adaptations. So here this thing is very important, that is the anthocyanin is present in the alpine species. Now we will see some more facts. Now the adaptations of favoring the survival of the seeds of the next generation, how they are going to be survived for the next generation. So there is a term called the winter dormancy. Winter dormancy means the resting stage. Okay, so in seeds we can see the winter dormancy, and what happens in the autumn, the seeds are shed and they will germinate only after they have experienced a low temperature. मतलब एक पूरा लो टेम्परेचर को बेयर करने के बाद ही वो क्या करेंगे, germinate, and it is called as the stratification. Now we can say that not only seeds but the growing points of the perennials, okay, they also pass into the resting phase. So एक तरह से एक चेन हो जाती है, वो क्या है कि जैसे ही विंटर होता है तो there is a slowing of metabolism, low temperature, then there is slowing of metabolism, then hardening of plant tissues, and then enforcement of dormancy. It is the next stage. So we will see some more points over here. Then the next adaptation is the depression of the freezing point. As you have heard of the halophytes. What are halophytes? They are having the very high salt level and they can decrease the freezing point up to -14 degree. Okay, so in the same way, there is due to the high level of the sucrose, the plants also lowers the freezing point of the water. Okay, So again, all these things are written over here. Now the next thing is that deep super cooling. The deep super cooling is up to the 40 degree centigrade. What happens in these type of examples, that is the ice is formed in between the intercellular spaces, okay, and just rest of the tissues are going to be safe. So these are the strategies. In the next video we will see about how the plants adapt for the drought conditions. So if you like this video, please subscribe.